Yo, what is up, guys? I'm gonna be ranking every single enemy in Little Company V80 version. Disclaimer: I did not rank. I'm not gonna be ranking manticoils or roaming locusts because they don't do they just don't do anything. So yeah, let's begin. So the hoarding bug. These guys are not that big of a deal, honestly. From my they can be really annoying sometimes, but as long as you just put the stuff, your loot outside, your scrap, you should have no problem with these guys. They don't do nothing, man. I promise you. These guys, they can get pretty angry if you take their stuff, so just don't do that. The hoarding bug would probably go in like a D tier, all right, because I think for me at least, they're really simple to deal with. Circuit bees. These guys can be annoying, but like the hoarding bugs, it's just they really aren't that big of a menace. You can just completely ignore them sometimes. They can only be found on forest moons, and you know they can really provide a lot of loot, or I mean a lot of units. I think it's often one over 100, which is really good. So I mean, they can be really annoying if you have a stupid teammate who brings them into the ship, and you know, that happens a lot with my friends, but you know, no worries. If you don't have any friends and you play alone, then these guys are probably not going to be a big deal. And once you've learned how they work, they are really simple to deal with. So I would just say, like, again, just D tier. The Snarefly. So these guys can be really, really annoying in some scenarios, especially when you're playing alone. And I mean, yeah, they don't kill you if you're playing alone, but they're still really, really annoying. I can't lie. These guys are just the pinnacle of being annoying. Yeah, like if you scan non-stop just all the time, then these guys are no problem to deal with. I mean, they can just, but like, and then if you have a teammate who has a shovel, that's just great, right? Then they're absolutely no problem to deal with, but they can be really annoying when there's multiple enemies. So I would say for the Snare Fleet, they would probably be in C tier. The Bracken. Okay, the Bracken, dude, this guy, probably my favorite enemy. Sneaky, right? But once you know he's there, he's sort of like always in the back of your mind. So he's not going to be a problem for most of the time, for me at least, because just once you've seen him, you just like, okay, he's here. So you just, you know, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to worry about. I would say, like, if you have a coil head on you, he can be really annoying, but for me, I think he's really not that hard to deal with. So I'm gonna put him in C tier also, maybe a B tier. Yeah, I'll put him in low B. I think he's not really that big. All right, the blob, the high growth deer, whatever you call him, the blue guy. This guy, he's really he can be really annoying if there's a lot of enemies. He's kind of that guy who just like helps other guys, right? He helps, especially like thumpers or stuff. Cause like, I mean, yeah, um, he's really not that big of a problem in my opinion. So I would just high C tier, high C tier. I think that's a good spot to put him. The bunker spider or the spider, yeah. This guy, he's rather chill. He's really not that big of a deal for me. He can be annoying if, you know, he has his webs in a good spot or like an annoying spot, you know, near the center of the building or, yeah, the complex. So I would say this guy, he's not a big problem at all. He can be really annoying, but overall, this guy's pretty chill. He doesn't do much. So I would say, yeah, just like C tier also. Alright, the Thumper. The Thumper, now this guy, for me, is an absolute menace. I really despise him, alright? So annoying to deal with. For me, I mean, for some people he can be really easy, but for someone like me who panics a lot, I would say he's an A tier. Maybe, no, maybe high B. No, I would say low A. For me, it's low A, just because of how annoying this guy can be. So, yeah, either high B or low A. I would say low A for me at least. Blind dog, the mouth dog, whatever you like to call him. This guy, super chill. Just all you gotta do is be quiet. He's really not that lethal at all for someone in lethal company, but this guy is no problem. At least for me, I would say he can be annoying sometimes, especially when there's old birds around or something like that. Just with forest giants overall, they can be really annoying. So I would say Lobby, the baboon hawk. This guy. Oh, I hate when there are like five of them together. That can be really annoying. But for me, like I said, they're just really not that big of a problem. If you have many friends and if you know how to counter him, by being loud and stuff, he's gonna be no problem for you to deal with. For like someone like me too. So I would put him in the middle of C tier. He's really not that big of a deal. Forest giants. Now these guys, oh, they're just like for me again. I panic a lot, so I would say this guy. He's probably in low A tier. For me, he can be really annoying to deal with, and man, this guy. He's just like, especially when there's eyeless dogs around, it can be really annoying, man. I'm gonna put this guy in low A. He's just terrible to be around. All right, the worm, the guy in the ground. This guy, no problem for me, no problem. If you can hear him rumbling below you, just drop all your loot and just get to a safe spot, and then go back for it later. Or you can bait the worm. I mean, this guy's really he's nothing to me, honestly. At least someone cool like me, no problem at all. So I would say the worm, easy peasy. High D tier maybe. Spore lizard. The spore lizard. This guy, no problem. I think he's probably the least lethal enemy in the entire game. Definitely gonna be in low E tier. E tier, yeah, E. Probably even F. This guy does nothing. He can be, he can do the gas and he can bite you, but I mean, this guy does nothing. Just yeah, E tier, right? Does nothing. The coil head. Okay, the coil head. He can be really annoying. If you have a bracken on you and you're supposed to look at spot the bracken, but then the coil head is also there, and it can be really annoying. And especially if there's multiple coil heads, you're kind of just cooked in most scenarios. But they're not terrible. But I would say, yeah, high B tier. They can be really annoying. The nutcracker. The nutcracker is really just, how do I even say this, man? They can be really annoying. Yeah, they have guns and they shoot you. So, I would say, like, honestly, low A tier. I think they're good. I think they're pretty annoying. And the jester, often on Titan for me, can be really annoying too. Like most times I see a jester, they are just an instant, like, everybody get out. But sometimes when you have teammates, that's not really possible, and they're somewhere else in the facility, then they kind of just die if you don't have like walkie-talkies or something. So I would say, yeah, just in the middle of A tier. Really. Okay, masked. These guys are just creepy for me. I mean, really, just really creepy, man. I think masked probably be like low B tier, because sometimes they can really freak you out if you have teammates and you thought that was your teammate. So I would say, yeah, low B tier. They're not terrible, but if there's many of them, yeah, they can be really annoying. The ghost girl, she is scary too, like the masked. And if somebody's getting haunted, they should honestly just hide. But like, the ghost girl is really not that hard to avoid. Just don't look at her most of the time. And if she does attack you, you just gotta run away, if you can. So I would say she's not that bad, but she can be bad. So I would say, like, yeah, low B tier. I'm gonna put these two together, the butler and the butler flies. I would say the butler would be. The butler is really not that bad. Just stick with a teammate, and if you can't do that, then just leave the facility or just make him not see you. That way, he won't be a problem. So again, for me, I would say B, like, no, C tier. Honestly, C tier, high C tier. Really not a problem for me at all. These guys are nothing. The old bird. This guy, he's an old bird. Yeah. When there's a lot of them, they can be really annoying. But for me, again, I think they're just annoying, honestly. I think the missiles, they're really annoying. How much knockback they can do, and sometimes they can one shot you, which is really annoying. But I mean, most of the time these guys are really not that bad. So for me, low B tier. Yeah, they're still pretty hard to avoid, but they're not that bad. All right, the tulip snakes. These guys, I often see them on adamants, and these guys really are not that bad. They can honestly help you sometimes. So yeah, if you're stuck somewhere, you can just get these guys to jump on you and help you fly to the ship. Especially on adamants, they're really nice. So yeah, I think these guys are really good. Actually, I like to use them to my advantage. So I would say just E tier in the lethal range. The kidnapper fox. So before V80, I would say he would be just like an A tier, right? He was really annoying sometimes. Sometimes you couldn't even get to the facility. Sometimes you couldn't even get out of the ship. I have no clips of him because I think he's disabled right now, which is really annoying. But like I know like now he's way better to deal with. He's actually not terrible to be around. I know he can. I know he doesn't spawn at the start of the day. Now I think he spawns in the middle of the day, and he's way scared. He's way too scared to get out of the vein shrouds often, which is really nice. I think they really fixed him up, and I think they actually made him a lot better to deal with. So I would say C tier or high C tier for me at least. The barber. This guy often on Dine or Rend. No, I think mostly on Dine. Yeah, this guy is just he's easy. He's easy for me. I think he's blind until you step into his range where you can see him, and he gets stronger over time when time goes by. But I really don't think it matters. He rarely ever kills me. I think he's nothing to me. I think I would say, you know what, just C tier, just in the middle of C tier. I think yeah, above the butler, the man eater. Okay, these guys really simple. If he gets a favorite player, just make sure that favorite player sticks by him and helps him. You know, makes him not go feral because that can be really bad. If he transforms, he can be really annoying and he can just kill you really quickly. So I would say just don't anger him, and he's not a big deal. But if he's angered, he's kind of a really big enemy, and you can't really loot in a certain section. So I would say yeah, in the middle of B tier, probably higher than masked. Yeah. All right, the giant sapsucker. This guy, just like the bees, you don't have to interact with him at all, but he does have valuables. The eggs are really good. This guy, super hard to kill, like 50 hits or something like that. A lot of hits, but if you just put in the effort and if you cheese it, like my friend often does, you can kill him really easily and get a lot of free loot or a lot of free scrap or his eggs, and it's really good for you. So I would say he can be really annoying if you have a stupid teammate, just like if your teammate brings a beehive into the ship. The same thing if a person brings an egg into the ship, it can be really bad. Since this guy can open the door to the ship, terrible sometimes. So I would say if you're dealing with him, probably low B tier, probably even higher than Old Bird. Yeah, somewhere there. All right, to the new enemies, the cadaver growths or the cadaver bushes, whatever you like to call them. These guys are only on adamants, and they're not that bad. I think once you learn how to deal with them, you can get the spray thing. Kind of forgot what it was called, but you can kill them. Even though it doesn't really matter because these guys reproduce extremely fast, which is super annoying sometimes. But I think that these guys are really not that bad. If your teammate does die and turn into a cadaver bloom, it can be really annoying, especially if there's multiple of them, because those guys are really fast. Those guys are really just deadly, and they can also, I don't think they can go outside, but they can be outside. They can turn outside, so you should be careful of that. These guys, just be careful wherever you go. So yeah, I would say C tier. Probably below Butler. All right, the Feopar, the Jaguar, the Panther, whatever you like to call him. This guy, he can be scary. He can be scary, especially on moons like Vow. I think Vow, he's the scariest because, especially there's multiple of them. They can blend in really easily, especially when it's night, since they're fully black, and these guys can be really lethal whenever they spawn in. All you need to do is just keep your distance from them and kind of just try to spot them like brackens, and then you're safe. At least that's what I think. So I would say that they're above the giant sapsucker, in like middle of B tier. And then finally we have the backwater gunkfish. This guy, no problem. He can be used to your advantage sometimes, and yeah, he's not that bad. I would say he is really chill. He can be really annoying if you get blinded and you have multiple enemies on you. So I would say in the middle of C tier maybe. Or no, maybe D tier. No, I would say C tier. Yeah, like above a baboon hawk. Anyways, that is my list. Comment down below if you think something needs to change, because I didn't really think this through maybe. But just tell me what you think, and of course, smash that like button and subscribe. Until next time, later.